Hello and welcome to Barnsdall Junior Art Center's online piano class. My name is Vera Lugo and I'm a piano instructor at Barnsdall. This is the 6th lesson in our series, so if you haven't seen the first 5, you might want to go back and check those out before we get into today's lesson about melody. A melody is a collection of notes in music that feels like it goes together. It should be recognizable and repeatable, and usually the rhythm is going to be the same too. So we talked about pitches or notes on the piano and how when you go to the right, you're moving up in pitch or up the piano, and when you go to the left, you're moving down in note or pitch. We've done some scales. Scales, remember, are the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, which you can sing or you can play. And those are kind of like a melody in that they are recognizable and repeatable, but they're not really a tune like a song, right? So a melody is more like a tune in a song. If we think about Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, we think do 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 do. That's the melody of Twinkle Twinkle. There are also some things called chords that go with that, and like we talked about in our last lesson, there's a rhythm, right? Last time I played the melody of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but on a different rhythm, which made it not really the same song. So what does it sound like if we do Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on the same rhythm, but a different melody? So yeah, it's not quite the same, right? And that's because a melody is really that combination of notes and rhythms that go together that we recognize as the thing that we want to sing in the shower or the thing that we hear in our heads when we're walking around and humming. There have been many eras of music where people argue over what a melody can be, but the real rule is that there are no rules. A melody is any collection of notes that you like, that you can sing or play, that somebody else can sing or play, that's recognizable and repeatable. That's it. It can be any notes. Do you know that anyone can write music? All it takes is the ability to sit down at the piano or to be alone and singing, or even in front of people, whatever, and think, okay, I want to sing something like this. Do, 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 do. That's a melody. Sometimes you might have to play the melody a few times to make sure that it's memorized and memorable, but that's really all it takes. You can also just sing. The most famous melodies in the world are the ones that we get stuck in our head and want to sing in the shower, right? And some of those songs have lyrics, but some of them don't. There are some really recognizable melodies that I bet if I played them, you would know what they are. Let's see. You've heard that one before? It's called For Elise, and that's an instrumental melody. And that's the kind of thing you can get stuck in your head. Here's one you might have heard if you've been to a wedding before. We've made up some words for this song, but the melody itself is actually very famous on its own without any words. That's called the Bridal March. Here's a really old song you might recognize. That's called The Entertainer. It's by Scott Joplin, and that's a melody that doesn't have any words. So when you write melodies, those can have lyrics or not. They don't have to have words. They can just be tunes if you want them to. You can also write music on any instrument, in any place, at any time. All it really is creating a pattern of notes and rhythms. Sometimes people write music that they don't intend to repeat. This is something called improvising or improvisation, and it can actually be a really good way to get to a melody that you do want to repeat. When I compose, I like to sit down at the piano and improvise until I find something that I like, and then I will repeat it, and then I will refine it, and then I have a melody that's a written melody, a composed melody, and not just improvise. But improvising is really fun too. A lot of people do it in groups like in jazz, when they're all together in a group, and they just play notes that go with the chords that they're hearing, and it makes some really cool new melodies. So let's try some improvising composition. We're gonna go to our pianos, or we're gonna sit here, and we're gonna do just 5 notes. C, D, E, F, G. Those are just white notes, and you can play them anywhere on the piano. You can sing them anywhere you want. And I want you just to play with that and see if you can come up with some cool melodies that you like in any pattern, any order, whatever you want to do. I'm going to try it too. Okay, so C, D, E, F, G. And we can play that up here or down here or anywhere on the piano. I'm just going to stick with these 5 and see what kind of melodies I can come up with. I like that. What if I went? I like that better. That's a little bit shorter. So you can alter the notes that you play when you're making these melodies. So I have one. Nice. I'm going to repeat it a few times so I don't forget it. All right, let's add a little bit to it. What if we go? I'll repeat that. If you notice, sometimes they change a little bit, but that's how you do it. So we take those 5 notes and you just make up whatever you want. You can also film or record yourself while you improvise so that you don't forget the melodies that you play, because sometimes you can listen back and think, oh, that was really cool, I want to do that again. And then you can sit down and figure out what it was, and then it's repeatable and it's recognizable, like a melody. And if you stick with music, you can learn how to write down your compositions so that other people can play them too, which I think is the coolest part, is being able to share something that you created out of your own head that somebody else can also play and put out into the world. So here's your assignment. Improvise, play, compose. You're going to compose 5 short melodies, and I recommend that you put some limits on it. Like when we did our C, D, E, F, G exercise, we only had 5 notes that we could use. So you could say, I'm just going to do all the white notes on the piano. So that means that you're either playing in C major, or remember relative minors, it's A minor, the relative minor of C. So you could do that. We also know G major and we know D major. And if you kept going with your scales, then you'll know a few other ones too. So you could say, okay, I'm only going to use the notes from that scale. Or you could make it even more limited. You could say, I'm only going to use the notes A, B, C. Whatever you decide, you're going to come up with 5 short melodies and make sure that you record yourself while you come up with them. It can feel scary or embarrassing sometimes to compose in front of other people. And I know that a lot of us are stuck at home right now and that we might have our parents listening to what we're doing, but that's okay. Your parents and your siblings and whoever else is listening is so excited that you're creating music that they are not going to judge what you do. And especially not when you tell them, I'm a composer and I'm working on the next song that you're going to be singing in the shower. So definitely don't be afraid just to sit down and make some noise. It can be so rewarding, so fun. In our next lesson, we're going to talk about harmony and chords, and then you'll be able to compose full songs with rhythms, melodies, and chords. See you next time.